And welcome to our traveling book club, The Current Reads. Every other Wednesday, we check in on a different library, and we haven't been to the same place twice yet. So for stop number 29, we're staying in the metro and going to the Rock Island Public Library. This library first opened on November 25th, 1872 in a rented location. Then the first downtown library branch opened a few years later in 1903. Since then, they have opened several more branches and even revived the bookmobile in January of 2020. Today, our librarians have chosen 3 very different novels that are going to take us from Panama to Washington State and then up to North Dakota. Here to break this all down for us is Kara Keichdahl, Adult Services Director for the Rock Island Public Library. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, school's back in swing. Are you guys slowing down a little bit now, or is this when you get busy again?
Well, we had the exhale of August, but we're ramping back up for fall.
I can imagine. Part of that is lots of book clubs, lots of people dropping by for some fun fall reads. Yes. So you got 3 novels for us. They're very colorful in their covers. Let's start with the one closest to you. Tell me about The Great Divide.
So The Great Divide is a work of historical fiction by Cristina Henriquez. She's a Northwestern graduate, and it focuses on the construction of the Panama Canal. So it really dials in on 1907, and it focuses on 3 different lives in that story. A doctor that came down to solve the mystery of malaria, a young woman named Ada who's 16, who's come to Panama to create herself a better life and send money back to her family, and then finally a young man whose father advises him not to work for the diggers on the Panama Canal, but breaks with his father's advice anyway to give himself a better life.
This is one of those books where if you're a fan of multiple characters that you're following along with and how all of their stories interweave together,
yes,
this is perfect. And I think it's really cool you get the perspective of the digging of the canal from the people doing it,
yes,
people against it, and also people that are very much for it.
Yeah, it was the center of the world when this was being constructed, and I think this author does an excellent job in telling the social history involved in that.
Well, your next book was chosen as one of the best books of 2024, according to a lot of very important people. Tell me about The Mighty Red.
The Mighty Red is a work of fiction by the great Louise Erdrich. She is an indigenous author who owns a bookshop in Minneapolis. And this book is a love triangle, one could say. It focuses in on 2008, 2009, on 3 high school kids, some who've experienced tragedy, some who are on the trajectory of their life. It's a fantastic story that kind of brings you back into being 18 and the life's ahead of you with lots of big decisions to make.
We were talking before this started during commercial break. This book is set in North Dakota, and I was telling you how I've given this book as a Christmas gift before because I'm from South Dakota, and it's a part of the area I don't think people really think about a lot.
No, and I too liked that about this story, which is a great thing about fiction, is you can plant yourself in where that story is, and Erdrich is a fantastic author who does just that.
Well, your last book is from another incredible author. Tell me about Lawn Boy.
Lawn Boy, another work of fiction, 3 for 3. This book came out several years ago and was famously challenged and banned in some communities. It's about a young Mexican-American man who's also about 18 or 19, just on the cusp of his life. And he really buys into the American dream and wants it to be his, but due to some really troubling socioeconomic issues, it's hard for him to get there. It's a heavy topic, but it's told comedically. It's a wonderful story, and I hope that your listeners do read this one.
This one is so fun. It's an incredible mix of, anger, but humor, and as he figures out who he is, it gives all of us a chance that are reading it to really examine who am I and what do I care about and how has the American dream impacted me.
That's right. And this 3rd book, Lawn Boy, is part of our Freedom to Read 'em book club, which we focus on books that have been challenged or banned. So all the books are difficult topics, but it's good to discuss with your community members.
Exactly. Difficult topics doesn't mean we should shy away from that.
Correct, yeah.
Well, beyond the books, you got a lot of events coming up in September.
Yes.
Starting with what might be the most fun. Tell me about the Lantern Parade.
Oh, yes. So next week we've got our Party in the Park that we do in partnership with the Rock Island Parks Department. The Lantern Parade is a long cherished tradition in Rock Island that we've revived in the last 3 years. You can cut out holes in a cereal box, put a light in there, and let the kids walk in the dusk parade. It's really fun. Fun for your whole family.
And am I remembering this correctly? It's coinciding with the opening of that new trail?
Yes.
Okay,
yes. If you haven't been to Hodge Park or you haven't been in a while, please come. They've done a fantastic job opening that trail, and it's going to be a good night.
So after Party in the Park, you've got a couple events coming up, September 16th and 17th, Tuesday, Wednesday, that are all about mental health.
Yes.
Let's start with Your Mind Matters.
Yes, Your Mind Matters will be a talk given in partnership with Transition Mental Health Services, and it's all about self-care. So taking that time to really carve out some time for yourself. Life is challenging in its little moments and its big moments, and this talk does an excellent job of giving you some ideas of how to cope.
One way that people can cope is through exercise, but it can be really hard to start a new exercise routine. So you've got some free yoga to help people with that.
Yes, we've got a yoga series coming up. There'll be one event at each of our locations that you can try yoga for free, which is nice. And we've partnered with Sanctuary Studios to bring that to people.
Yeah, if you guys at home remember, Sarah Stevens, Sanctuary Studios, has been on The Current before. It's the Pay What You Can yoga studio. Yeah. Incredible work.
They're fantastic.
Gosh, thank you so much for coming in today. This is a lot of information, and like I said, I am eyeing a few more of these for Christmas gifts later on.
Perfect.
They're great books. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For you guys at home, you can find out more about all the events we talked about or the books we mentioned at WQAD.com underneath the As Seen on TV tab at the top of the homepage.